This is an interview that only very few people get, and I have been one of the lucky ones to interview Mr. Neeraj Kabi. Neeraj Kabi is a distinguished figure in cinema and theatre. He has captivated audiences with his powerful performances in Ship of Theseus and Talvar. Now, beyond the screen, he is a dedicated theatre director and acting coach. In this episode, I actually felt that I was being trained for theatre acting as well as screen acting, and he felt like he was my tutor. But it was beautiful, engaging conversation that I thoroughly have enjoyed. So I'm going to welcome Neeraj Kabi. Enjoy. Hello Neeraj ji, welcome to Inner Habit. How are you?
Thank you, Shruti. I'm well, and thank you for inviting me.
Neeraj ji, I've watched you on screen so much, and it's always been, a desire to want to speak to you and have a chat with you because you are such a fine, intelligent actor, and the way you choose your roles are so specific that this is going to be an opportunity for everyone to understand how you do things.
Thank you.
My first question is, how has your personal journey shaped your view of acting?
If you ask me, a personal journey is very crucial for every actor and every artist. Your art can't function without a very rock solid, literally a very rock solid personal journey, because your personal journey creates your physical body. Your personal journey creates your mind. Your personal journey creates the way your skin is, everything inside you, whatever is built, whatever is broken, whatever is rebuilt, whatever happens only through a personal journey. Everything that an artist does comes from his personal journey, and that journey has to be extremely well lived and lived without fear. If you can travel a journey like that, that can destroy you and rebuild you emotionally, physically, spiritually, in every which way, then that journey comes to use, because as an actor, you represent humanity at large. And if you don't experience humanity, you can't get acting out of reading books or going to an acting school. That's just a very small part of it. It's just to put you on the track. That's what an acting school at the most can do to you, or an acting teacher can do to you, is to put you on the track, and that's about it. The entire walk, the entire journey, the entire discovery, the entire process of even leaving behind your school and your teacher happens only by the actor, and you have to leave them behind because it's a very, very personal journey.
And why do you feel that transformation is important for an actor to embody a character?
If you do not transform your physical body, your mind, your voice, your face, and the very way you breathe or you feel, then whatever you are representing is going to be at a very peripheral level. You can probably hold the story and the audience for a particular point of time, or you can hold them throughout your entire film or the theatre performance. But you would have at the end of it done nothing to the audience. They would have at the most clapped at your performance, because maybe they've not seen anything better than that. But their journey and their experience would end right there. And that kind of a giving of an artist, I think, is very small, very little. As an artist, we need to give something beyond the expectation of what an audience is sitting there for you, what the audience has experienced emotionally, physically, spiritually, in every which way. That's why you're called an actor. You do things that normal people cannot. So you can't be yourself as an actor. You need to transform. It's you come and you become the actor, and from the actor, you become the character. This journey is very essential. When you finish your shoot or your play, From the character, you get back to the actor. From the actor, you get back to you, and you go home. The character doesn't go home, the actor doesn't go home. And that is why the transformation is important. Because if you don't transform, you will never be able to go to the absolute deepest core of what you really want to represent as a performer. You'll never be able to do that. Everything will be at periphery. And personally, I don't believe in that form of acting where I stay at the periphery and I don't experience what I'm trying to experience. I think personally for me, the whole performance or an actor's work is that whatever I transform myself into, my mind, body, and my voice, into that of the character, such that the audience experiences what I am experiencing at deeper levels of my consciousness. That's what my job is. If I don't make them experience the deepest level of my consciousness when I'm performing that character or telling that story, then I would have given an audience nothing actually. And who cares about audience clapping for you? Who the hell cares about that? The audience has to be touched. They have to be broken when they see you. And when they go back, that's the only story that's there in their system. And the story should have the power to shift something inside them. I think that's what you give an audience. So an audience clapping is no great deal. You got to ask them, were you really touched? Does something happen to you inside yourself? And will this stay with you? I think that's what, as an actor, at least I inspire to do, or I aspire to do. I want to find that moment and that level of work where I can leave behind an audience that lives with my story and with my performance for a long time in their lives. And you become a part of who they are.
How does one get to that level as an actor to be able to go into that depth of their consciousness, to be able to tap into all those resources? How does one go to that level of depth and then turn around and deliver and want to deliver such performances? Because, and the reason, and I'll tell you why I'm asking. I'm asking because when I look at, and Wikipedia shows you everything about you, when I look at the amount of nominations that you've had, you've probably single-handedly, whichever movies you picked have done so well, and they have been nominated, at different levels. And that tells me that only a person who's tapped so deep into their consciousness can continuously do that.
Yes, I think there are multiple things that you require. There are tools that you require. And the tools are techniques that you must have. I'm a strong believer of technique in any form of art. That's what I personally believe in. Without technique, I don't think you can deliver. So for me, technique becomes very, very important. That means learning techniques from wherever you can to understand the technique of performance. Second is your personal experience of life. I think you need to go out there. You need to actually reach out to life to be able to absorb as much as you can. Because if you don't reach out, life doesn't come to you automatically. You've got to go out of who you are. You've got to go out of what you think you are comfortable with. You've got to remove all this. Your ego, your fear, and your anger. 3 things that you need to remove completely out of yourself if you really want to get inside what humanity looks like or feels like. Only when you do that, I think, you start to reach a slightly deeper level of the human consciousness. And that should be your concern, actually. Your concern cannot be about your poverty, your problems, your life. Your concern has to be much larger than that. The problems, the confusions of the place you live in, the city you live in, the country you live in, and ultimately on the planet that you live in. I think that's how you should think and feel. It can't be about you. Nothing is about you in acting. Your experiences are there, everything is there, but it's not about you. You put in all those things into your craft. So the character you're performing is not you. And therefore all these things are so essential. And therefore there's a regime, there's a routine that I feel personally, like any other artist, an actor has to follow every morning. There is a way of life. There is a way of life for the actor, just as there is a way of life for the samurai, the way of life for a martial artist. There is a way of life for the actor. You just can't get up anytime, sleep anytime, do anything you want to anytime. No, there is a way of doing things. And to be able to do that, you need to sustain everything, right from the physicality, right from the way you sit, the way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you think. What concerns you at any given point of time defines you as an actor, defines your level at which you're working actually. It really doesn't matter what the audiences feel for you, how many awards you win, what people write about you. I don't think an actor should concern himself with that or herself with that. If it happens, it's fantastic, but the concern cannot be that. The concern has to be the kind of stories that you really want to tell. And what do you do as a performer? What do you want to leave behind? That's what I keep thinking to myself. I've come on this planet. What do I want to leave behind as an actor? What's the kind of work I want to leave behind? What is it that will inspire? What is it that will shift the way people are living their lives with? What is it that will shift their way of thinking? The way they see people? Am I able to shift that? I think that's personally my concern, and that's the only way I think, like you asked, what is the way of reaching that specific point of work that can be so intense? You need to have that. You need to keep quiet a lot. You need to shut up a lot.
There, right?
Everywhere. You need to just shut up. Because only when you shut up, here, everywhere, a lot of things happen inside your system. There is a way that you will start to look at a script that maybe others will not be able to. And that's where I think every actor must try to reach. At least I'm trying to reach that space where I'm able to look at words in a script and I'm saying that I want to get deeper into this understanding of what am I trying to say. I know this has been written by the writer. I know that. But my job is to take it from the writer and carry it to the audience. That's why I'm called as an actor. Otherwise, people can read the book. Why should they look at me? They look at me because I take it from the writer and I give it my interpretation of what I want to do, giving all respect to what the director wants to make it happen. But this combination is where you work. And that intensity is very important. And that's why keeping quiet, staying to yourself a lot, being your own good friend, I think is very, very important. And speaking with your character, coming out of who you are and being the character and living that life wherever is possible for you. That's the experience actually for you as a performer as well. Because there are so many lives you actually explore, you see, you feel, your intensity becomes even more powerful. Actually, you can go on speaking about this, Shruti. There's no end to this.
Can you share a moment where you experienced personal transformation for a role?
Yes, I did. When I performed Ship of Theseus, there was a huge personal transformation. It happened before I did the performance, while I was preparing for it. The preparation itself began to do something. And thanks to my director, Anand Gandhi. He wrote the film as well. Really thanks to him, because he put me on a path which I otherwise wouldn't have walked. And that's what made the difference. The things he gave me to read, the things he asked me to think about, the things he told me when I was performing on set. The first thing he told me is break the way you speak as a theatre actor. Just break it. Don't have rhythms. Don't have a meter. That's how we do it, when we are trained in theatre. He says break everything and let's see what comes out of this. So it happened from there. A huge amount of transformation happened because I read a lot of philosophy, not just Indian philosophy, Western philosophy, European philosophy. And I was asked to read that by the director. It was important for me to read all this to be able to prepare for the role. And this reading got a lot of transformation. And when I began performing and reducing my weight, the kind of food I was eating, the thought process I had in my head, all of that began to transform immensely, to the point that I also was conscious about what I began eating after that, what I began thinking after that, what I spoke after that film got over, how I aligned myself after that. It made a lot of difference to me. And I carried that difference on. It still is within me. And the second film that first touched me was Talwar. That also has a lot to do with what I am today. Also Byomkesh Pakshi. Although it's a very commercial film, but the role did something because I went as much as I could to the depth of what such characters are on this planet. There are many, many Dr. Guhas, the character I played. And you try to find them everywhere. You try to find them in Vietnam. You try to find them in South Africa. You try to find them in India. That's what I was doing. I was trying to find this character everywhere in the world. And that got me in touch with real life characters who were Dr. Guhas in their own countries. And that was fascinating. That's where you feel, oh my goodness, look at what intelligence can do to you. So these are films that, yes, got about a lot of transformation. Some physically, some mentally, some emotionally, some spiritually.
So you mentioned that you read a number of books. Are you able to share with the audience what books you were reading when you were preparing for Ship of Theseus?
No, I can't because I don't remember them anymore now. They were all given to me like that by the director, just sent to my home. I don't read too much, by the way. I'm not a reader. But when I'm performing something, I like to read and I like a lot of material. Whenever I work with a director, the first thing I request them is, can you give me literature, a lot of literature, write up, whatever you can, but I can read. Give it to me because I want to walk to the set with a handbag full of books and videos and recordings. And that's what keeps me engaged when I do a role.
I have to ask, you worked in Detective Kesh, and you worked with an avid reader.
Absolutely.
What was it like?
Yes, Devakar Banerjee is an avid reader, very intelligent director. And he likes to explore a lot, which I think most directors like, but he's very well read. He's a very intelligent man. The way he would look at something definitely is different from what everybody else would look at. And he has a way of looking at things. And he was an avid reader. So for Byomkesh, I did ask him for a lot of material, but the amount that I saw him, I went to his place as well, and I saw the amount of reading that he does. That shocked me because I can't ever read that kind of, I don't have that capacity of reading. But our conversations were not on books so much. Our conversations were more about cinema because he would land up asking questions like, who's your favorite editor? Which films do you like? What kind of filmmaking do you prefer in world cinema? So amongst them, who's your favorite director? And why do you like him so much? What is it that is so specific about the director? Those kinds of conversations are what we used to have. It was not so much on books. He never asked me, have you read that book or this book? But it was more about this. But performing Byomkesh, when I was performing the character of Dr. Guha, the research was given by him. He wrote a lot to me. He wrote a lot of literature on the character, lots of it actually. And that helped a lot. And he did give references to where I can refer to other things as well, where I can work forward. And when I came on set, when I was performing, that's the time it became magical because like a few other directors, he also works with an actor very closely. And sometimes he looks at you as if an audience is looking at you on stage. I've seen him doing that. When I was performing, he's come out of the camera, like he stands behind the monitor and is looking, but he's come out of that and he's come out and stood right very close to where I'm performing. And it looks as if an audience is standing there looking at you live. And he does that. So it makes you very conscious that you are not only performing cinema, you're performing theater as well because he has a live audience standing in front of you. And that's what I liked about him a lot. He just stands there. And there are a couple of others who I know, other directors who I love a lot, and they work like this. They do come very close to what you are doing. And it hits you because you can't have somebody standing so close to you, but it makes you feel great because you're doing theater as well. So, there's a camera capturing you, and there's a theater audience standing right next to you, a very intelligent theater audience looking at you. So the delivery is far more, and you try to explore so many things.
That's very interesting. And I suppose you love those type of roles where you've got a director not only looking at you in the camera, but also looking at you like you're in a theater.
I did. I don't know if I should be naming them because it's unfair to name one and not name the others. But there have been directors, yes, like that. And they fascinate me because there are times when I get into my personal madness of representing a character. And there are directors who are so open to this that they are willing to retake and redo the entire scene again, just because you offer to them saying that now that you've shot the entire scene, can I do this in this particular way, because this will give so much more to the story. and so much more to the scene. But now that you've already shot it, it's too late to do it. And when I tell them that, there are some of them who've agreed to reshoot the entire scene. And they said, okay, we'll do. I mean, an entire scene means you're taking the shot from different places. So they're willing to take the shot again from those three different areas, replace the cameras again, just because you thought of a brilliant idea. And they say yes to that. And they're even open to your suggestions on what you can do with your costume, which is what I did in one of the projections, in one of the OTT films that I did. I did suggest that now that you've done the shot completely, can I remove a part of the costume? Can I wear only this much? And can I do this to the character that I'm performing with? A totally weird concept of doing this. And the director said, yes, let's do this. We'll shoot it again tomorrow. That's a huge risk. No director will come and tell you that I'm going to shoot the same scene again tomorrow. You can't waste money and time like that. But I have been fortunate to have directors accept what you're giving them, and they appreciate it so much that they're willing to call you again the next day, reshoot the whole thing, and take a chance with it. So you have great respect for these kind of people, and you feel, yeah, we need such directors for storytelling in our country.
Now, what role does the mind-body connection play in your acting?
So first, when you perform, it begins with the mind. Your mind will try to and will gradually affect your breath. Your breath will now show up on your face. These three will start affecting the way your body is behaving right now. Your body has its own intelligence, and you should train your body to reach that intelligence. And now finally, these four will affect your speech. Speech comes last. So these four are very crucial. You begin with the mind, it affects your breath. These two will affect the way your face will mean or look like, the movement of the muscles on your face. And these three will then affect your entire physicality, the way you're standing, sitting, moving, whatever you're doing. And finally, it will affect the voice. Your voice will have its own grammar, its own texture. It depends on the character you're playing, and it depends on these four elements that will affect your voice. You can't have the same voice for every character that you play. Not possible. That means you've not worked hard enough. You've not gone to the depths of what you're doing. Your rhythms will change. Your patterns will change with every character you perform, because it's not you. So you need to train. That's what I said, you need to train. The physical body has to train in yoga. It has to train in traditional martial arts. It has to train in folk forms and dance. Your voice has to train. You have to practice immense amount of breath techniques. How will you otherwise perform? Your mind has to reach out to the world. You've got to go out into the world. Meet up with people you don't like. Break your own personal patterns. And that's how you go ahead. And I think it's a joy, because there will come a point where you will forget who you are actually. Because you're doing so many characters, you're going through so many things that you're confused with, who the hell am I then? But you know what? It's so beautiful the way you've been constructed as a human being that you can never lose yourself, whatever you do. So you do reappear in your characters. There's a lot of you that keeps flashing out when you're performing without your knowing. It comes. It comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. And I think that's the beauty about performance, is that you can't completely transform into something. You got to give at least 20% or 10% of yourself to be alive and come out and look at yourself. That coming out and getting in, just that 10% is very crucial for the performer. If you go completely head in to the character, then you will not know what you're doing. You lose control. So you need yourself to hold on to you, that 10% of you. Because that 10% of you understands the script and knows the script and knows your story, knows your character. You have completely gone into what you're doing. So you need yourself to control that character, to maneuver the character. But that's just 10%, I believe. The rest should be completely the character. You've got to give yourself into that. I think it's a beautiful thing. It's like giving into a relationship. It's like giving into your passion. That's how you give in yourself to a character. You surrender yourself to what you want to create now. And it is like that. It's difficult. It's very tough. It's very tough to surrender yourself like that. Anywhere, I think. Even in relationships, even to your character, and even to what you want to do in your life. But I think it comes as you keep working. It happens.
So then, when you're completely within this character, how does one balance emotional authenticity with the technical skills for acting in these roles?
At times, very difficult to balance your emotions over there. Very, very difficult. For example, when I was performing Talwar, now that was based on a real life story, and that story had to be told at that point of time. And when I was performing the character of the doctor, it took a huge toll on me emotionally. Literally every day on set, it was taking a toll. And it hits you very hard. At times, you are not able to control that when you go back home. But you tell yourself, this is my job. I'm a worker. And just like any other worker, I need to report back again the next day on set, because this is my duty, it's my job. I can't be emotional, and I can't come today because I feel emotionally heavy. I can't do that. I got to come out of it and go. But then every time I would go back there, every time it would hit back again, and that became tough, really tough, on set and off set as well. It happens. I don't know how very, very good actors control this, but it's very tough. It's tough. At least if you ask me, it was very difficult for me to find a way out of this. I just felt that no, let me stay in this state because I want to complete the story. So yeah, at times when you have a family, for example, if you're alone, it's easy. It's easy because you can get back and you can throw it out anywhere you want. But you can't do that when you're living with family, when you're living with people. It becomes difficult because you can't carry your character home. But you carry those emotions. You may not carry the character, but you carry those emotions. And it's real life. It's happened to a couple. It's happened to a child. There are real life stories about it. There are writings, there are write-ups on it. And you get affected by those things. Many things hit you. Not just the story that is being told. Such stories that have happened all across the world. You begin to read them as well, and they affect you even more. So you can't come out of this. There are techniques in acting. There are many, many techniques where you can come out of the character and go back again. There are again techniques which they call the switch off and switch on, but I don't cater to that kind of a technique of switching off, switching on, because when I get into something, then I like to be soaked into that till the story is over. That's how I work. I personally work like that. I can't switch off and switch on like that. So in the technique that I'm trying to follow, in that it becomes difficult to sustain all these things. So I guess after some more years, I will probably find a way to tell myself how can I emotionally be out. There is yoga, there are breath techniques, there are many ways to come out of it. And we try everything. But if you're really, really involved and absorbed in what you're doing, it gets difficult.
So in your case, I mean, you must have had so much literature, so much information, not only about your character, but also about the whole thing that happened when it came to the Talwars as well. Do you feel that there were a lot of gaps? I mean, I saw the movie, but from your literature, do you feel that there were a lot of gaps that needed answers before whatever results took place?
Yes, of course there were. Lots of gaps. I mean, that's why the story was being told actually. Because there were so many gaps, that's why I think Meghna Gulzar thought of this, the director, that we need to tell this story because this is important. And this can't happen to humanity. So I think that's why these stories are told, and that's why you call and invite actors, you call cinematographers, you call writers, and you say, come on, let's tell this story because this is something that should not happen again to human beings. And that's why stories are told. So because of those gaps, that story was important. The gaps are still there. Even till date, as I speak with you, I myself don't know what the absolute truth is. Very difficult. And it's better we don't talk about it because we don't know what the truth is about this. We performed it, of course. That's why if you see the film, it was performed in both the ways. It was taking both the viewpoints because as a director, Meghna was also careful about not taking sides anywhere. So we had to give both the sides and leave it to the audience to take a call on this.
Yes, I do remember that. I do. Now, they say that you're a self-taught actor and you have worked very hard with your own techniques and you started off in theatre. So how has that shaped your acting career and who you are today?
Theatre gives you the discipline of standing alone. Theatre trains you that even if there is nothing on stage, No other actor on stage. No lights, no costumes, no backdrops, no art direction, no sound effects, nothing. It's just you. And even if you have one person sitting in the audience and you are there alone on stage, only one man, you can tell an entire story. And that's called theatre. So, theatre builds you up like a soldier of the arts. It trains you to understand what is a limited space and how do you use that space with your physical body. Your body is the instrument. It teaches you that. Cinema can't teach you that. And cinema is a medium that has so many people involved to tell you the story. Theatre keeps you alone on there. And you're all alone. There's nothing with you, nothing on you. And there you are telling a story. So it builds up a lot of things inside. It builds your voice, your stamina, your physical understanding of what is the story looking like. How does it move in a particular way? In cinema, we shoot in different ways. Sometimes we shoot the middle of the story, then the end, then the beginning. But in theatre, it's not like that. There's a particular logical way of telling a story. So you understand a script like that. You understand the graph of the character like that. You understand why these scenes were written, why these acts were written in that story. When you take Hamlet, you ask yourself, why did Shakespeare write Act 3.2? Why was the second scene written? Was there any need to write that? Then you ask yourself, okay, this is why scenes are written. Certain scenes are written because the writer feels that the character has not come out completely. I've not been able to establish the relationship between the character and the mother of the character. Let me write a new scene over here. Because that's where we will get to know a little more about the character. But the writer writes that scene. You understand writing much better as a theatre actor. So then when you get scripts in cinema or on OTT, you're able to understand the entire script in a very, very logical way, emotionally as well. You know why the scene was written. If you don't know why the scene is written, then you just memorize lines and you speak up the lines. That's not called acting. That's school level performance. That's what we did in school.
What do you see as a actor's role in society?
Oh, immense, huge. I personally feel that theatre and cinema are two of the most powerful tools to understand the human process, to experience it, and to be able to influence an audience's thinking and feeling. And so the actor happens to be a very important tool of these two forms of storytelling, theatre and cinema. And you have an immense responsibility and you have the power to actually shift a lot of things in humanity. You can. You can actually shift the way people think about themselves. You can actually make a difference to how people think about their role in their own families. You can actually shift how a person on this planet thinks about what his life is all about. What does he want to do with it? An actor can shift that. Storytellers can shift this. So I feel an actor's darja is very high in society, and which is why I think we need to respect this craft, at least as performers. And we need to go deeper into this. Much, much deeper. Because we are a very intrinsic part of society. We have the power to influence. So we need the training and we need to be there. That's how at least I see it.
So, what philosophical beliefs then do you have when it comes to your choices in roles and acting?
You know, every time it's very difficult to choose every story. Otherwise, you'll go bankrupt as an actor. So there are many times I try to choose, but there are many times that you just take up a story and you work on it. But at the same time, I wish that brilliant stories are just written and written and written, so that you don't really need to choose. That there are so many stories at your disposal that you can just pick up anything and you can start working. But these choices have to be made, and these choices are made not only by the story. When I make a choice, I make a choice with the people that are behind the story. When I say people, I mean the director, the DOP, the producer, the other actors, the team. Story alone can't do much. You need a team that will take the story ahead. So it becomes unfair to just read a story and say, wow, this is amazing, let's do this. You've got to execute that story. Execution of that story is very important, and you need to know who's executing it. So that is my first thing. The story, if it impresses me or I like to do that, the first thing, the discussions that I have with my managers is that let's watch and let's discuss the team that is there, if you could find out, and let's have a word with them, because it's good to know the team. And when they tell us who the team is, then it's interesting. It's very easy then to say yes. Even if it's not a good script. If the team is great, there are many times we've done films where the team is superb. The script is not very great. And I've jumped on that script immediately because the team was there. So I depend more on the execution of a story. I'm not talking, execution doesn't mean box office. Execution means how far can you reach and to how many people can you reach. That's execution.
Now, you hold workshops as well. So, if people are interested in acting, then they can join one of your workshops, I suppose. So, how does your teaching reflect your struggles as an artist?
It's interrelated. When I teach, I learn from that and I put that into my craft. And when I perform my craft, I learn from there and I put that back into my teaching. Because I have trained my own self and my acting workshops and my methodologies have been invented solely on the spot as I've been teaching all my life, right, with children and to adults. I've not read it from any book, so it has evolved on its own, and that evolution has helped me to become the actor that I am and my craft. And the moment I put that into execution and into my craft, whatever I learn while I'm doing a film or a play, I learn new things, I write them down, and I bring it back into my teaching techniques. And my teaching evolves on its own. So you enhance your teaching, and that enhances your performance levels. So these two are interconnected all the time, the teaching and the craft. And your personal experiences in your journey comes into both. It comes into your teaching as well as your craft. Like I remember when I started teaching the first time, I actually took an acting workshop. I knew nothing about it and I was called by an organization. This was many, many years ago. I just knew nothing. I knew just one or two things, and it was supposed to be a 6-day workshop. They asked me, can you do an act? They had seen me in theater somewhere doing a play. So they called me up, they met me on stage and they say, hey, we like your work. Can you teach? We have students in our academy. We have about 16 students in the academy. Can you teach? And in those days, I was unafraid of anything. I would say yes to literally anything that came my way. If somebody asked me, can you teach? I would say yes. If somebody asked me, can you jump from the 4th floor? I would say yes. If somebody said, can you run 5 miles? I would say yes. Can you stay without food for 3 days? Yes. I didn't understand this madness of mine. I didn't understand what the repercussions would be. I just knew that whatever I told, I'll say yes to that. And I'll be unafraid of it. And I think that fearlessness helped me a lot. And when I went to teach in this academy, I still remember it was a rainy morning. And I've said this in another interview as well. I went over there and those big gates opened. The guard opened the gate. And I said, I've come to teach my teacher room. एक workshop है, acting school है. He said, हाँ आइए आइए. And it took me inside over there. I knew nothing about what I'm going to teach. And I looked up to the skies and I prayed to the universe saying, help me, because I know nothing. I just know nothing, but I'm willing to learn. And I think this philosophy has helped me even till today. There are many times where I go to something and I say, I know nothing, but I'm willing to learn. And when I clear my head of everything and I say, I actually know nothing, then it opens up a whole new world altogether. It happened on that workshop day as well. So when I went over there, I looked up and I prayed. I looked down and I saw a green leaf down there, a fallen green leaf. I picked up the green leaf. I saw it for some time and I got the first technique. I told myself, yes, I've discovered something. I'll start my workshop with this philosophy now. It taught me something. I won't tell you what it was, but the leaf itself, the shape of the leaf and the wetness of the leaf, the rain falls on the leaf, told me something about a character. And I took that leaf, I put it in my bag, and I went and started my workshop like that. And it was amazing because it started with something I never knew. It started with a leaf, a green leaf that was fallen down, and I did an entire 6-day workshop. It was 5 hours every day without knowing anything. And I think that experience taught me that the first thing that you need to do as an artist is to become fearless and learn to say yes and drop your egos. Just drop them. And if you can have this power to say yes to everything, then you see what worlds open up in front of you. I did the same thing when I was doing mask workshops for children. I was asked, do you know masks? Do you know how to make masks? Do you know how to work with masks? I knew nothing. And I remember lying and I said, yeah, of course I know. I knew nothing, but I said, yes, I can do this. It was a 2-day workshop. I said, yes, I'll do it. 40 children, 40. I went to the workshop. I knew nothing, just nothing. I didn't know anything about masks. And I looked at the walls over there. And on the walls, those bare walls, I could see faces. If you look deeply actually inside any wall, you look at the floor, you'll see faces on the floor. You look anywhere, you'll suddenly you look deeply, intensely, with a lot of intensity, look at anything, you'll start seeing faces. And so I started seeing masks everywhere I was seeing. And my workshop began. And things came. Whatever had to come came. I think it has a power, when you say yes, like a child. That comes to the third thing. You must be a child when you act. And if you want to be an actor, you've got to take a U-turn. Stop being an adult. If you're an adult, you will never make it as an actor. You can do what you want. You'll never make it. Because you'll be stuck. You'll be prejudiced. You'll have ego. You'll have fear. Drop it. Take a U-turn, go back to childhood. Live like a child. Think like a child. Become innocent. The more you do that, the more power comes in your storytelling. The more you can give, because that's where your experience of life comes into the child that you are. And you have no idea what it can build.
Oh, I totally agree with you. I'm totally with you in this conversation, because as soon as you drop the anger, hatred, and ego, you lose that fear.
Absolutely.
Nothing affects you. There's such strength in that enables you to actually just focus. And with the purest mind, like completely clear, enables you to focus and deliver on what you want to.
That also helps you to stop worrying about what your Instagram looks like. It helps you to stop worrying about what people think of you as a performer. It really helps you. It's not that you're not bothered with it, but it helps you to keep your own dignity.
Is that what keeps you away from Instagram? Because I know you're not quite social media savvy.
Yes. I don't know, maybe I might become very savvy with it in the coming months. I have no idea, but till now, I haven't yet found a reason why I should be part of that, or a force that tells me, yeah, let's get into this. I know it's very important. It can do wonders to a lot of things. So I want to get into it where I know that there is value to what I can give there. And I will eventually. I want to. It's a very strong platform. I agree with that as well. But I don't have enough to give out over there. So, but when I have, I want to be a part of it, definitely. I'm very certain about its power. And I'm also certain about its madness. So it's got both the things. Yeah.
It's just how you balance it that makes a difference.
Yeah, I guess so. I've seen a lot of Insta pages of a lot of amazing people. And they're mind-blowing. The kind of work that they present on their Instagrams is very, very fascinating. Very fascinating. You want to make friends with these kind of people. You want to be with them. You want to know who they are. You want to meet them. You want to ask them, how can you be so intense in the way you're living your life? And not that they're serious people. No, they're very fun-loving. But they're very intense. They're very intense. There's a good combination between intensity and fun-loving. And just being fun-loving.
Is there anyone you can say who you think is intense, fun-loving, and also, totally focused?
No, I don't have to take names. It becomes very unfair to the rest of everybody else. Yeah. Even the workshops, we avoid taking names anywhere. Unless I really want to take a name so that people understand what craft is, then I might take a few names. But otherwise, no, we don't take names to put down anybody. We don't take names to... That's not necessary, I think. It's not important. Yeah. So over here, it's very difficult to take names. Even if they're good, I don't want to take, because then I lose out on many others who are as good as they are. But what I want to say is that it's good to, figure out on Instagram, who are these amazing people on this planet? They're doing such amazing work. And that inspires me a lot. I love to watch somebody's Insta like that. I don't follow anybody, because I don't know how to follow and then follow back, and I don't know those things. But I do read. I do go through that at times. When it suddenly appears on my Insta, I go through it and I see it, and it fascinates me. I mean, you actually get to know people who are not part of your country or your city and are somewhere else in the world and are doing such fabulous work. It's mind-blowing. Yeah. Those are lives. Those are great lives.
How do you approach moral dilemmas in characters, like in the ship of Theseus?
It's reading, it's finding those kinds of people, those kinds of emotions, those kinds of thought processes in the books, on videos, in real life. You you will therefore get across to understand moral dilemmas of the human race and how they deal with it, because it's evident in the script itself at times. The dilemmas are there in the script, and if you read deeply you'll find it, and if you go intensely inside the character then you will find even more. That's the journey. Once you plug into the character, once you've plugged in, and then you're allowing yourself to be getting in more and more and more and transforming yourself more and more and more, you start discovering a lot of things. And that's how you start discovering, how does this character that I'm playing deal with the modern dilemmas? The moral dilemmas. How does he deal? And then you question yourself on those things. But that's how it is. I think it's a question of a combination of everything, literally. It's also a combination of the present state of your being. Sometimes just the way you are at this point of time. It's not about what you've experienced before or what your life has been all about, what the script is, what you've read. Sometimes it's just right here. Just shut your eyes and you've done all your preparations and you're with the character right now, but you shut your eyes and you say, what do I have now at this point of time? What am I having with the co-actor that is with me, standing right in front of me? What is the material I have right now to use? Because you look for material as a performer. What is it that I have right here, right now? That also becomes a very important role that plays in your character building and telling the story. At the same time, you need to be the other side of the spectrum as well. You can't be only intense. You can't be only intelligent. You can't be only an avid reader. You can't be only alone. You've got to come out on the other side where you are an absolute joker. You are totally something else. When I used to do theater, I was very good with comedy. I've never explored that in cinema. When I used to do plays, I've done a couple of work where I've done physical theater and I've done roles of really comic characters. And I made people laugh on stage. Really laugh. But those are comic characters. So there's both, and I want to explore this in cinema. I still don't have a script yet, which gives me that opportunity to do comedy as a cinema actor. But I'd love to, because that's a very strong element of me as well. So probably I've just landed up doing very serious roles till now, but that's another element of me. Romance is a very deep element of me, and thank goodness I did this film called Once Again with Shefali Shah, a romantic film. And yes, there was so much that I could give to the character. I don't know if you've seen the film, but it's a very beautiful film made by a very, very, very intelligent director. It's a lovely film called Once Again with Shefali Shah. It's a romantic film. It's a middle-aged romance. And that's one thing I got to explore. Now I'm waiting to explore comedy. And so being everything is very crucial, very, very important. You're speaking with me, you're asking me questions, so I'm giving you very serious answers. But there's another side of me which is a complete clown, a complete joker, a completely madman. I couldn't have been able to say yes to so many things earlier in my life as a learner of acting or as an actor or a theatre person if I was not mad enough. There was a certain madness that I had inside me. And that's crucial. So when you do Ship of Theseus, you're asked to shed down 18 kilos of weight. You're asked to read certain things. And that's madness that takes over there. You can't do it just like that. You can do it for films which have the money for you. You're willing to do all that because there's money in this. But to work in projects where there's no money at all or very hardly anything, and you're willing to give so much of yourself and put so much of yourself into that project, invest so much, that requires a set of madness inside you. And it's crucial, it's very important. Even now, at this point of my life, there has to remain that madness. There has to be that romanticism inside you. If you're not, then you're a dead person. What will you bring on stage then? What will you bring on the screen? Nothing. You'll bring the same old things you're doing every time.
So how is your approach then changed to acting over the years? You've grown as an actor, but how has the approach changed as well?
By being alive. by being very, very strongly alive to every moment that comes in your life. Good, bad, ugly, strenuous, every which way, whatever comes to you, you're alive to the situation, very alive. And you take it on. You take it on right on you. I think that element of being alive has transformed a lot of things, has changed a lot of things the way I approach acting. Because when you're there in front of the camera, there's so much that you've gone through. And of course, as you are growing also, as an adult, as a person, as a human being, there are so many shifts that are happening. But if you're alive to those shifts, alive doesn't mean that you're fighting with them. Alive means you're aware of what is happening and are alive right there in the moment to everything that's happening to you. Alive in your senses, alive in the way you're thinking, the way you're breathing, the way you're dealing with those circumstances. That helps your craft to transform and take it to levels. And when you're performing, sometimes you don't believe you just gave this shot. It astonishes you as well. When you go back into the van, you think, and sometimes you break down saying, where did this come from? What did I just do right now? Kahan se aaye? It came because you were alive to everything. Yeah. And if you can stop bifurcating between what is good and what is bad. And it's difficult, even as I'm saying this, it's so tough to do this, but I'm trying every day to learn this on my own, to see, can I just look at things as they are? It's so difficult. I mean, within a second you can shift. Within a moment you can shift. It's very difficult, but the idea is to look at things as they are. I think when you do that, then you experience things in its totality. And that becomes very exciting, to deal with a character, to deal with so many things. As an actor, as a teacher as well, when we are doing workshops. This is what we recommend to people who come to learn. Very important. To be a child and to be alive and to see things as they are. Don't give your own understanding of what you're seeing or what you're experiencing. Don't make your own stories to it. That's the meaning of being quiet and shutting up. Because if you don't shut up, you'll start giving reasons to why you're doing something. The moment you stop giving reasons, then you can look at a character in a very neutral way. Very neutral. Otherwise, you judge your character. And the moment you judge your character, you're going wrong as an actor. You don't judge your character. You just perform your character. Perform is state of mind. You perform as physical actions. Perform as state of mind as much as you can. That's what is called performance acting. And you perform as physical actions. Then you will find the emotions. You don't have to feel like him. You just work your brain and take your brain to the way his mind is thinking. Why is he speaking a particular line? What is his mind? You must be concerned about the mind of the character. That should concern you. That should give you sleepless nights. Then comes the physicality and everything else. But his physical actions are very important. Every human being's physical actions are important. Those physical actions define just the way you wake up from bed and what you do in the first day of the morning. Whatever you do, that defines who you are. How you sleep and what time you go to sleep and what mind with which you go off to sleep defines the character that you are, defines the human that you are. How do you take on things that come to you every single day? Good, bad, ugly, whatever. That defines you. And so the character cannot be judged. You got to just simply, at one level, just perform what the character is thinking and what the actions the character is doing. I'm landing up actually doing an acting class right now.
It's good. It's good. I like getting into the technical details, as you see. We've talked about this. We've touched on it. And I'm going to ask you this question. You've mentioned that for an actor, awards shouldn't matter. So then, what is your definition of success?
With what intensity and at what level can you touch your audiences? Film after film, play after play, story after story. I respect awards because I won them myself. I've gone on stage and taken an award and thanked people. So I respect that. But I'm saying I don't think that's why I work. There's an importance to that because there is a group of people that go through the performances of many, many others and they take a call on it. And they also ask for the audience's poll and they take that idea as well. And then they figure out who the best actor should be. So there is a method to that. And with all due respect, I honor it. But I don't think that that's why you work as a performer. I think the reason to be an actor is far beyond all that. Far, far beyond that. That is important because it gives you recognition of the work. It at least brings you to a space and a stage where people get to watch that you are one of the important people in the storytelling business. But beyond that, it has no value. Actually, when you bring the award home, what do you do? Where do you put it? And what do you do the next day? It's over, right? You put the award and you look at it. But I don't know, what can it do to you? It's still just a graphic image of something, right? It's just material. It's just there. It happened last night. You won the award. People clapped. The media came. Everything happened. The very next day, is just an object lying over there. It has no meaning. It doesn't define you anymore. You like it, you probably take it and you kiss it every single day or every second day. But after that, after a week or so, you're done with it. It's over. And it definitely inspires you to do more. But I don't think that is the inspiration that takes me ahead. No, it's never been that. That has never been my inspiration. I probably one income, I put it in my room, and that's about it. I like it. And it closes over there. Because I'm more concerned with what's the shift that I'm causing and how deeply am I affecting people's lives. And am I important? Is my work important? Even in comedy, if you see Charlie Chaplin, that's where you see him. Even in comedy, even being comic, he did so much that touched people's lives. So much. The world over it touched, right? So it's possible. Comedy does not mean that you're just being silly or stupid, but the way you do that is important. Comedy also has its own graphs. There is a level at which it works. So you need to know that level as well. You just can't go up and do anything and say, I'm doing comedy. It's fine, you can do comedy. But there are many states of comedy also. There are many levels of comicality, and it depends on what level you're dealing with it. Everything is good, nothing is bad, nobody is doing a wrong job. Everybody does their work to their capacity. That's what I believe. So you can't point finger at anybody and say that, no, this is not the way you should do. These are not the films you should be doing. These are the comedy shows you should do. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Everybody, every human, every artist is doing what they're capable of doing and what they can do. And that's the respect you give everybody. And you do what you can do. And there are people above you who can do what they can do. They're better people, better actors. So everybody is doing their job and everybody is good. But to point fingers at somebody is wrong. You may not like that kind of comedy. Okay, don't see it. Don't do it. Don't be a part of it, but don't point fingers at it.
Neeraj, you have so much probably in the pipeline. What can the audience look forward to seeing on screen from you in the next sort of 12, 24 months? 12 months?
So there are projects coming over. I've already finished almost 5 projects now. They're all done. They're all shot. 2 feature films and 3 other OTT platform work. So they will come. They're in the pipeline. They're all being in the post-production. They will come up in the next months, the coming months, and the next year. So there are 5 projects, which is a lot to be seen. But, as I'm saying this, there are also projects that I would want to be a part of. So I'm not saying that these 5 projects are the ones that are fantastic and this is where you should see the work that I do. No, these are just projects that I've done as an actor, as a professional actor. But I'm also looking for a lot of different kinds of stories that I really want to be a part of. And I'm waiting for those stories to come. And I'd like the audiences to see that aspect of my work, that level of my work, which I still haven't offered and I wish to offer. I'm very keen to do much more intensive work than this. When I'm saying intensive, it doesn't mean serious all the time. It just means intensive work, whether it's comic, whether it's romantic, whether it's serious. But it has to be intense.
Thank you so much, Neeraj. This has probably been one of my most favorite conversations across all the podcasts I've done, because I have learned so much, not just learned, understood so much from you. And it's just amazing and refreshing to see such a thoughtful and different actor from the number of people I've spoken. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Shruti, for asking these kinds of questions as well. There's a lot that I wanted to say and I got a nice platform to speak about these things. So thank you as well. And thank you for being patient to listen to so much of my speaking.
It's been fantastic.
At least I don't know when to stop, and this has stopped me. And that's bad. I don't like that element of mine.
No, I think you did brilliant.
Thank you. Thanks, Shruti.
Thank you so much.